Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Bravo. We're Black. Obviously, it's some people's favorite episode, which is the Bravo episode.
Mhm.
Um, Today is an extra special day because we have a very new friend that feels like a very old friend with us here. Aaron, give her the introduction to the people because this is not just anyone. This is someone who works for one of the best publications in the world.
Yes, she works for Essence, and we are so happy to have her. It's Taylor Crumpton. It's our friend. Y'all know her from that Bonita article that we posted and went
Yes.
viral, and we couldn't have did that without her. So we really appreciate it, and we want to give you just a special thank you on the podcast too.
Yes. We want you guys to put a face to the name. And
Mhm.
she's also a Bravo, a big Bravo fan in general. And she also is Beyonce adjacent, and we're
Mhm.
Taylor adjacent. So now we're adjacent to Beyonce by default. Like we're like Beyonce adjacent once removed. You are a freaking rock star. You have been busy. You made the time last minute to come and chat with us during a very special time in our lives. It's Black History Month. It's Country Music Information Month. It's like a lot of things going on right now. And we are so excited for you to be here. Welcome, Taylor. How are you?
Well, it's so good to be back with my family, with my cousins from my daddy's side, twice removed. I love everything that you do. I love everything that you have done. I couldn't have done that Essence article without y'all. I mean, the podcast you did with Vanita was really what got me thinking. So I have to also credit you as well. And I'm just really excited to talk about all things Bravo. I only keep it between like me and my sister. So, like, this is great.
You're at
Yes,
the right place. But
you're
before we even get into all things Bravo, we want to know how you got to where you are now because you're not just a writer, you are like a rock star. You just got off of the telly with people over the seas. I don't want to,
Mhm.
blow up your spot, obviously. I'll let you say what you can and cannot say. But like, how did you get to where you are now?
Yeah, I have to say, I was an angry Black girl in college. So if you were to reverse the hands of time and look at me on campus, I was that girl who was in student government, in Black Students Association, every curricular, I was in it. And when I was at undergrad, that's when a lot of Black students started organizing around Mizzou. So I was planning all the protests, all the organizings, big, advocate on campus for Black equity. However, the university I went to was in rural West Texas, in a city and a county that had the most Trump voters per capita in the 2016 presidential election. So, me being so loud and bold put a target on my back to the point where, I'd wake up and go to class in the morning, a piece of my car would be off, or I try to do something on campus and like we'd get death threats. So I was like, maybe I need to take this passion and this anger and like other places. So I had a lot of internships with nonprofits in DC that really like targeted young millennials. They wanted us to like speak up and raise our voice. So I started my writing journey there. And ironically, that writing journey allowed me to speak about abortion rights at the steps to the Supreme Court when I was 20, allowed me to start writing for Teen Vogue when I was like 21. And now I'm like 28 and a half, and my whole entire journey has always been advocacy, writing, speaking up, cultural critique. And I've been blessed to do that for Essence and the Washington Post and Marie Claire and the Guardian. I was just on BBC in London talking about Beyonce. I've been on NPR talking about Usher. So it's just kind of like a beautiful, whatever time has elapsed since I was on campus screaming at people that now all of my screams are writing in journalism, in media.
That is so dope. Did you know that you were going to be in media? Were you always a passionate child, or did it take you a while to find that passion? Or were you like me, who was like, I want to do one thing or I want to do another thing, and you just end up doing what you're meant to do? It found you somehow.
I think meant to do is the best description. I always tell people I fell into journalism. I didn't formally train to be a journalist. I have 2 degrees in social work. And the irony is that when I had graduated with my MSW, I remember telling one of my girlfriends, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if this is the right profession for me. And she's like, you just walked across the stage. And I was in Cuba for study abroad, and one of our professors, he like also wrote, and he was like, Taylor, like, tell me what you feel when you write. And I was like, well, I feel passionate, and I feel like I'm advocating, I feel like I'm speaking up, and I feel like I'm making things aware. And he was like, so writing became social work for you at a young age. And I was like, oh, you're right. And it's something that I've always done with social work. My first job out of like grad school was social work. And then I became an essential worker during the pandemic. And about midway through the pandemic, I was like, yeah, I'm going to do writing full time. And everybody at my job was like, that is the stupidest decision you could ever do right now. We're being paid, we have time and a half. And I was like, yeah, I just want to bet on me. And look where it's gotten me. So
Now I want to know too, how is that? Because I imagine, was that a scary experience for you, like depending on writing full time? Because I know usually when people transition into that, it's like the work is freelance, right? Most of the time.
mhm.
So it's like you're kind of going check to check in a sense.
Yeah, you definitely have to be a hustler, right? It becomes that line that Jay-Z says where it's like, I'm a businessman. Like, you have to become a business,
Mhm.
which for people like me, I have a Virgo moon, so it keeps me in check. But also, journalism, like most arts professions, you have highs, you have lows. So you have to figure out what things I can sacrifice, right, to help me live this out, and who can I rely upon in my community to help me out. And I have a really good community of family and friends who believe in me and support me. So like when times get tough, when I'm maybe not the hottest girl on the block, they really surround me, encapsulate me. But then when it's like weeks like this where I'm like working for 10 plus hours, they check in on me, they call me, they give me food. So I think it's really like you have to figure out, if this is what you want to do, how can you safeguard yourself so that you're in it for the long haul and you're not just like, I'm burnt, peace out.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. And that is actually like wise words to live by, especially in this day when you're, I feel like for anyone who's an independent contractor, like if
Mhm.
you are not on someone's payroll, you cannot even with working with like brands or companies, sometimes it's like a net 10, a net 30, a net 90. You don't even know when your next check is. So you should always be working and working on something. You really don't even have like an off day, because the good thing about working for yourself is, okay, you may get to sometimes work when you feel like it, but if you're a hustler and you have any earth signs in your placement, you're always in the back of your mind like, I need to be working. And I understand that mentality, because we go through that as well as creators, and writing is creative.
Mhm.
So I think that you know what we're here for.
Mhm.
Y'all might not know listening to this or looking at this, but
Oh,
let
we
me
know.
let you know in case you don't know. Beyonce, Giselle, Knowles Carter, Jackson, Gaga, the third, literally, she announced her country album. We already did a whole episode about it, so we're not gonna yap about that too much.
Mhm.
She announced her hair care and a bunch more care line, Sacred. But the most important thing that was revealed within like the last 24 hours is that she is the cover star for Essence April issue. We
Mhm.
had already kind of not known, but we knew because it was in the streets that she was going to be gracing the cover of
Mhm.
Essence. And she looks so amazing. It's such a wonderful cover. It's such a great place to debut in 2024, especially for a hair care line, because we know that she has inches, natural inches. I mean, look who her mother is. If you know anything about, I don't have to just look up Beyonce. But how was that, knowing that, you work with Essence and you have this mega star who literally just broke the internet with a Verizon commercial, gracing the cover of a publication that you work for, and you're an expert on Beyonce. I would imagine that anyone that we come in any kind of contact with is an expert on Beyonce. How did it feel that she would be essentially metaphorically in the motherfucking building? Like, how does it feel to be on that team and to be around that and to be able to talk to the masses about it?
Beyonce is so smart in the way in which she uses media to work in her favor. The last Essence cover she was on was 11 years ago, and she was in country garb. So for her to release a country album on March 29th, to have these 2 country singles drop after the Super Bowl and come on a cover of Essence magazine, which I think people forget is the last Black print magazine you can have at newsstands, right? And they don't run 12 issues anymore. They run 6 issues. So it's like January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, all of that dichotomy. And it's kind of like what she's doing right now in the country music space. I think arguably that could be said for the Black media space of what does it mean for the world's biggest pop star to grace Essence, this staple in Black media, right? That has survived all of the highs and the lows, to be the first to really talk about her hair care, and I was not on set, but the senior VP of Essence, she is from Houston, Texas. The entertainment director, she's from Houston, Texas. So there is this love and this camaraderie around Black women from Houston, Black women from Texas. And I'm just grateful that she brought that gift and that joy, because for us in media right now, we've seen the closure of so many publications, so many journalists are out of job, especially Black journalists, queer journalists, trans, non-binary, it goes on and on. So for a star to shed her light and be like, hey, this is where you can find the details, I think is really telling of how she intentionally moves through the world and knowing who she is and what that brings to people.
Yes.
Oh, God.
That's what I have to say, because when I seen it, I'm like, this is a big deal. And I know I asked you, like, behind the scenes, I was like, is there anything you can tell us? And Taylor was like, no, She was like, but I can tell you about something else. But in the back of my head, I'm like, it's going to happen. Something's going to happen. I just know it. I just feel it.
Yeah, she didn't confirm or deny. So I'm just like, okay, Beyonce, I understand. Like, because that's how I'm going to be when I get famous. Like, you can't confirm or deny.
Yeah,
you can't confirm or deny if I even exist. Like,
I'm crying.
You can't confirm or deny if you even know that I exist. So that's the thing. NDAs all around. So for you to be able to be as close as you are from the background that you are, which is social work, that is such an inspiration, and that is amazing to see. And like, congratulations on your name also being everywhere, because you were just in Time, I think it was. Yeah, so it really feels like it's your year as well as Beyonce's year, as well as everyone's year. But it's just so good to be so close to someone who is achieving all this greatness. So let's get into Bravo. What is your favorite Bravo show? And I know that we did the Vanita thing, but don't tell me it's Southern Charm, because I know it's not.
So I have 2 shows that are really taking my attention at the moment. Real Housewives of Miami. And y'all are going to hate me, but don't nail me on the cross. Southern Hospitality is doing a really good 2nd season. And Mia and Lucia, I don't know what battery got in their back. I don't know where they went, but baby, they are coming into every episode and delivering, calling people into account, standing up for each other, defending each other. And I just really love to see their friendship. I don't think we see that as much on the younger shows between like 2 Black women, with the exception of like Summer House and then Summer House Martha's Vineyard. But they really have like unified in a way on this 2nd season at Southern Hospitality that brings me a lot of joy. Because if someone tries to come for one, the other one is straight on backup.
I have been watching Southern Hospitality. It's not ranking high, but I will say that they're like you said, they're doing a really good sophomore season because that's important. Because if you deliver a good first season, okay, but what it's just like a sophomore album, are you going to be able to deliver that second time around? So I totally agree, and I also can agree that they are carrying the show. Like Miss Maddie's cute. But we've seen that storyline time and time and time again. Trevor is 100% cheating. Joe Bradley is like his name. He is a gas station man. Like, please stop arguing over this, Danielle. Please let Luann have him. And then as far as G. Lily, I like Grace. I call her G. Lily. I like.
That happens sometimes.
See, this is why I don't talk about Southern Hospitality. But anyways, she's into like meditating and doing all these calm, affirmational things. But like you said, Lucia and Mia, they are the show. I thought that I was gonna like OnlyFans boy, the milk boy. What's his name? Ocean. He's at first I thought it was good that he was like a girl's guy, but he's not like Peter Thomas where it's fun to watch. It's just him taking up for Maddie because you know that he wants Maddie. So it's kind of boring to watch, especially when he yelled at Lucia when they were drunk in Miami. It was like, bitch, don't make me come down there and snatch you up. Like, I'm in South Florida. He's not really what I thought he was going to be. And as far as who else? I went through most of the cast. Bradley and this whole, so there's a storyline, Aaron. I don't know. You don't watch, so you don't know. But there's a storyline that Bradley got his dick sucked behind the restaurant, behind a dumpster that Maddie keeps talking about. And Maddie's like the manager or some shit like that. And he denies it. And Grace Lily said that she didn't see it, but Maddie has been going with this story. So in order to get back at Maddie, he basically told her that, her boyfriend is cheating on her. Now there's this back and forth of the girl that he allegedly cheated with said that she was only doing it, saying it to get back at him, yada, yada. But this man has cheated on Maddie before. It's like a whole, like a love triangle / drama storyline, but it just doesn't have my attention. We're missing is Mikkel?
Yeah, Mikkel took a step back, which I actually think was extremely wise.
I mean, if it was for himself, then is it for, well, do you know why he took a step back?
Yeah, he said that he was not happy with his appearance on season 1. And I think that is because when you look back at the episodes, he was turning to alcohol because he wasn't being open about his sexuality. So I like when he comes in season 2 because he does have this maturity to him, which I think is like really refreshing. And also I felt season 1, he kind of got stereotyped as like the Black gay best friend who's like loud and combative and aggressive. His spotlight to me this season is when he sat down with Brad and was like, yeah, that was a lie. I never saw you get your dick sucked behind the restroom. I was just taking up for Maddie. And that's where I was like, I'm grateful that he said that because I think it is so dangerous what she has done and at this current time of filming continues to do, because I don't mean to put on my cultural critic hat, but it's in me. There is something in the history of this country when a white woman accuses a Black man of something that he did not do out of some type of own place, and then that impacts him. I think Brad has said, like, you impacted my business. Like, I'm not in a relationship with that person anymore. And she does not take that seriously. So it was good to also see Mikkel like back him up and be like, no. And then we see in the Miami episode, Jilly is like, no.
Yeah, I won't say that. Like, you want me to say that, but that's not what I saw.
And, she was just on Watch What Happens Live, and Andy was very much holding her feet to the flames. So I hope we also see that in the reunion of like, what was the purpose behind you creating the lie, spreading the lie, and disseminating the lie. Because she didn't do like a housewife. It didn't have like a sharp tactic, you know? It was like, I'm doing this from a place of anger and pain. And I'm like, well, babe, that's going to come back to bite you in the ass. And I feel like it's going to like be her reckoning at the reunion.
Yeah, I really like Mikkel, and I hope that he's able to come back in a different light for season 3, so
Same.
we can have it. Because I was actually really focused on his storyline. His storyline was he was telling his friends and close family that he was a gay man. Yeah, that tea party was a mess. That was cringeworthy. But the rest of his scenes, I really enjoyed him as a character. So if he can step back and he can step back in to like reinvent the way that he wants to be seen, that is great. What I did like about the last episode was that it was the 10th anniversary of the business. And I just thought it was so, in a good way, ironic that Republic is owned by people of color. And it's where some of the biggest moments in Southern Charm has happened and still is happening. And Mia is Mia is one thing. Like, her new boyfriend is so fine. I just have to say that. Like, I hope that they are still together. I would like to see them together. They make a great couple. Miles better than Joe Bradley, and just in the looks department. You know, he might not be sure in real life. Don't hold me to my word. But I'm just saying about what Mia can do and what Mia can get. It's that's on her playing field and her level. Because at the end of the day, I think what they didn't understand about Mia was the very first and second episode was Mia basically quitting her job because Lucia got caught allegedly drinking on the job, which I'm like, that's kind of weird because you have people leaving their job to go and see if their dude is cheating, which they definitely are. You have people dating each other who are supposed to be in management positions. You have a lot of hypocritical things going on, what I didn't like. But it's definitely, if you want something that reminds you of very old Vanderpump Rules, maybe not as good as that, but something to start off with, it's good to watch. I was expecting a little bit.
I was just about to say that too. It kind of, from what you're describing, it's giving me like season 1, season 2 of Vanderpump Rules.
It absolutely is. I was expecting a little bit more from them, but I think it's because they don't have more episodes. They have a very short season, so they're not able to. So I feel like some things are missing because they have to edit it down so much. But I feel like it definitely deserves a 3rd season. Do not give them the Family Karma, Winter House, treatment. But
and Bravo is so nasty because they're like paused.
I love myself some Family Karma. I remember I was reading the press coverage around BravoCon because journalist, Bravoholic, intersection of the two. And the NBC executive was like, we love Family Karma. We're going to bring it back. And when I saw the cast member get engaged, I was like, are there cameras? Like, are we catching this? Because that was part of her storyline for seasons. So I hope eventually they are people of their word and bring it back. I am curious to hear y'all's thoughts about Winter House. Some people named it like a pandemic experiment that went on for too long.
I think that Aaron would name it that. Me personally, I think they messed up when they put the Below Deck crew on. It was like, we already didn't want the Southern Charmers on, aka Austin and Craig, but you're now going to put, no offense, Below Deck people on when we don't know them like that. I didn't want that. I didn't want to see that. I wanted more single men, just like with Summer House. I want more single men and single women. We're not fighting over the same crusty, dusty, musty old dudes that we know are in either relationships, marriages, or situationships. And then you have these like gorgeous women, and it just doesn't make sense to look at. It was cringeworthy. It was embarrassing. It was not what we expected to get. It wasn't as fun. It was just very weird this season. But the good thing about it is that Corey and Sam broke up. And that's a good thing. I do think that down the road, it should be a pause, but it can come back. I want them to get Summer House right, which it seems like they might be, doing. Bring
Mhm.
on, people from Martha's Vineyard. Like we
Yes.
had Jordan, but bring on maybe another person from the Vineyard and just keep it to the Summer House and maybe even not the Vanderpump Rules crew either, even though Tom Schwartz being there was funny because everyone was roasting him. Keep it to
Mhm.
the Summer House crew in the wintertime. Keep it a few episodes like it is. It's just something fun to watch. It's not something that's supposed to be a flagship show the way that I feel like they were trying to make it with this big reunion and all and the forward. Like, I think that shit was like, what, 2 parts? It needed to be like a 30-minute reunion. It was just, it's not.
I think they should also maybe revamp it if all else fails and make it like kind of like a House of Villains in a sense, with without the villains, but more so like people that we have enjoyed, maybe friend ofs like Jacqueline, like some people that we haven't seen in a while that we really like that have been on the sidelines for a while, like our favorite Housewives friends, like maybe a show with Dwight. I don't know. I know he's older, but throw his ass in there. Throw him in there with
Okay, so what
Jacqueline.
you want is a new show. You don't want Winter House. That's not Winter House at all, baby.
I
You
think, but
want
it
you
can
want
be Winter
a
House.
mishmash of like Bravo
Yeah.
stars. That is a great idea, but it ain't gonna be called Winter. Like, we're gonna have Dwight.
I
Dwight.
still think that could still be Winter House because they can do like winter activities.
I think Dwight would cuss everybody out. It would be
Yeah.
right and would be justified. It's funny. I listened to Sam's interview on Not Skinny But Fat. And the host was like, "So why weren't you a full-time member of Winter House?" And she was like, "Well, it's supposed to be like Summer House, which is like singles. And like Corey and I were still like undefined. So they were like, okay, we're going to throw you in halfway through filming." So I feel like Winter House and Summer House, from my opinion, and also what I've read on Bravo and Cocktails, which did come true because Winter House is paused momentarily. So I don't know who's willing to give up their full-time employment to give that to us, but thank you in advance. Is I think Bravo is in an interesting place where you have the younger shows, but the younger shows have like aged. Like Vanderpump isn't a young show anymore. Southern Charm isn't a young show anymore. Like we've grown with them. So I feel like Winter House is almost like their testing ground to be like, okay, like let me throw this in. It's kind of like that meme of like that person who's making French fries and then like the pot blows up. Like I feel like they just keep on adding people and they're like, this is going to be really good. But season 3 was just like, Danielle didn't need to be there. She needed to mourn that breakup in peace. Give Kyle and Amanda a spinoff already. Please do so. They're married. I don't think they're divorcing. An alleged Loverboy spinoff is happening, so I think they'll eventually leave Summer House and Carl will go with them. Lindsay was good the first 2 seasons. I don't think she's going to join Roni, so I'm very curious to see where her reality TV show will go. Jordan's the breakout star of Summer House, Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah, because she was everywhere after that.
Tom is going down with Tom. Tom's going down with Tom. We don't know anything about Gazelle's boyfriend, Jason. I don't know anything about his storyline outside of like Gazelle.
Oh yeah, he was there one day. I'm like, what?
Below Deck, I don't think it's that popular. So it's kind of like let this random person walk into the house party.
Okay, so like ratings wise, it absolutely is popular, but since it's like outside, like I see what you mean. Like it's not in the scope of, like we want to see them. Oh my God, how would they mingle with someone from another? The gossip is not the same. It's just a whole, different experience because we're used to seeing them on boats with their people, serving people and having their own separate drama. But when we try to put them somewhere, especially Captain Sandy showed up out of nowhere and someone else showed up, it was just a weird time. They are fun to watch, but they need to be in the Below Deck universe.
And I think the disadvantage is the Below Deck universe is international when all the other shows are like in the US. So it's like, When they come to New York, of course, they're going to like hang out with like Summer House. When they go to LA, of course, they're going to see Vanderpump or Orange County or Beverly.
Right.
And Below Deck is like, well, if I'm Heather Gay and I can charter a yacht, then I'll hang out with them. Or like if I'm Adriana and like the hot captain like docks in Miami. But other than that, I feel like they enter the house and people are like, so we're mutuals on Instagram and we're meeting for the first time. Would you like to take a shot or?
I like that, they didn't put just one person in there. Like it was Malia and hi.
This is my dad, everyone. You can walk through, Dad.
Hi, Dad.
I said hi, Dad. We're gonna edit this out, or maybe we'll keep it in. It's kind of cute.
We'll probably keep it in. This is definitely Bravo Little Black.
He's already made his debut.
All right.
But yeah, as far as Winter House goes, I won't miss it. It's cute. It's just something to watch. Like it's not a flagship show that I'm going to be like devastated about. I do love Bravo and Cocktails. That has been my source since the very beginning. They're right about a lot of things, including. If you want to get into Miami a little bit, they let us know that something was going on with Larsa and Marcus, but it's so funny.
Cleared up now.
They're back together, honey. Larsa and Marcus, they broke up and they were in contact with each other the whole time, and then they got back together. And the thing is, people are like wondering like what happened? Why did this happen? Why are they acting the way that they are? My thing is Larsa is trying to get ratings for Miami. This is a fact. We know that these two are stuck like Velcro right now. So why would they choose, he'll be back. Why would they choose Valentine's Day to break up and then get back together when the episode is about to air, that everyone is going to see the infamous video that we posted from TMZ of Michael Jordan saying hell to the no when it comes to, do you want your son to marry Larsa Pippen? Why would she choose now to do this to her relationship? If anything, they should have appeared together even stronger just to prove to people like, hey, we're going pretty good. So Larsa is doing it for PR. She has a big diamond ring, a brand new big diamond ring on her finger. I wouldn't say that she is engaged, but I don't know. She knows exactly what she's doing. And for me personally, I'm here for it because Miami has had a great season. I thought they were going to lose something when they brought it to the actual channel, but they didn't really lose a lot. They still kept that momentum going. It's still drama between the girls. It still has that same vibe. I don't mind if they take it back to Peacock. I don't know. Some people were saying they want it back on Peacock because it was a different experience. What do you think of Miami?
I have to give a bouquet of flowers to Kiki. I think Kiki really is shining. She's excelling this season. I like the edit that she's getting because, sometimes friend ofs can just only be known for like a moment in time or a catchphrase, where Kiki is delivering background. She's doing storytelling. We're hearing about her children. We're hearing about her upbringing in Haiti. And I think it's drawing us so much closer because when that big blow up happened on the boat between her and Lisa, I went on social media and there were more people for Kiki than there were for Lisa. So when a friend of is getting more attention than a full time, it's like, okay, maybe the tides are turning. But my one gripe about Miami, and this kind of extends to the other Housewives universe, is that we love these women, right? We're on a podcast for these women. We follow them. We are with them. However, I think the age gap is something we've yet to be explored between the Housewives, because the older ones, though they may be like an Erica Jane and they surround themselves with queer people and younger people and really just seem like open, they still have these very traditional views around like femininity, around womanhood and marriage. And I see that especially around like parenting and the way in which Alexia and Marisol come for Nicole, where like they're almost like, we're Cuban. You have to honor your father. You have to respect your father. And Nicole is like younger, and she's like, he has abandoned me. He has hurt me. He has harmed in violence. I'm establishing this relationship on my own accord, and I find that that's the thing that comes back season after season, reunion after reunion, and I think there's something deeper there that we really need to like.
Sure.
And I think that's why Nicole said on Bitches that she wants, or Beaches, whatever it is. Lord, please forgive me for cussing on this podcast. But I think that's why she said she wanted a younger housewife. And I was like, oh, the younger housewives want some support. They want some backup because Miami has never gotten over the old new complex. They still are like, what are you going to do about it, Nicole Gertie?
I feel you. I didn't even look at it like that. I definitely see what you mean, because even when it comes to I don't want to speak ill of the dead because her dad has passed away. It's just that even last night when they sat down, there was just still that old way of thinking with himself, and having a younger girlfriend and having kids and all that stuff. And she was very free to like speak her mind and stuff like that. I just don't want them to start trending younger. I don't like when housewives are born in the 80s, especially before 85. It's just very weird.
When were they born?
Me.
I'm about to look this up.
Yeah, no, I like my housewife to be a strong, like 60s, 70s, sometimes even 50s baby. It depends on what city, because the further you go back, the more.
You want some old people on OC, girl? We know where they were on Jason.
Like some
pretty
seasoned, stylish,
we're
like
doing pretty good
But
right now.
Okay, so let's really get into what was on everyone's tip of the tongue. I know that
Vanderpump
the
Rules.
I'm the odd one out here, obviously. Vanderpump
I'm dancing to
Rules.
the theme song.
I
love that white woman. I be
the best days of
Miss Dina Deadly.
And
we
then
had her
love
on.
her.
Shout out to Dina. So what have you been enjoying this season? We're 3 episodes in now.
I love Miss Maddox, and let me tell you about this, because being broken up with is a universal experience. Being cheated on as a universal experience. All we got to do is listen to Summer Walker. It is universal. A man treating you like trash, a man sleeping with your best friend in the same house you built. I mean, I just quoted every 80s, 90s R&B love song, right? But what she did, I just heard like Jasmine Sullivan reclaim my time. She took all the time he stole from her in such a bold fashion, which she rightfully deserves. And I take gripe when people are like, tell her to get over it, tell her to get over it. When it's like, some of y'all haven't taken enough spiritual baths and had enough cord cutting rituals to get over the person who didn't pick you for the high school prom. So I don't think that you're any position of expertise to tell someone how they're supposed to move through a breakup. She just happens to have the whole entire world on her. Y'all only had close friends on Instagram and a group chat.
Listen, for me personally, she's not doing enough. And I was the one, I want y'all to know it wasn't Aaron. I posted it.
No,
like,
it wasn't. They knew. They knew in the comments it wasn't me. After all the shit that I saw.
If Ariana is doing too much for y'all, don't you ever, not even cheat on me, don't even just look at me weird, because I'm going to be on your ass, baby. Like, the fact that he even feels comfortable even coming home, I would literally be going on Chat GPT to figure out different ways each day I can make this man want to leave the house. There's absolutely no way that you want to have a birthday party, that you want to go on the road, sing about what you did to me, do a little song and dance, and then come home and paint your little white toenails. Absolutely the fuck not are you going to have this bitch who you cheated on me with. I'm sorry, at that time she was still being a bitch. Have her send a fucking postcard to my house with your little secret code that y'all are playing with in front of my face, lightning bolts. lightning bolts, and this was only 3 months after 90 days, and we've been together 10 years. You leave the house, bitch. I'm not ever leaving this house. I'm not selling it. I'm not doing anything. And of course, I'm going to continue to go on Dancing with the Stars. I'm going to go on Broadway. I'm going to have my bounty paper towels, my Glad trash bags. I'm going to have every deal in the world. And I would go on every podcast. I would go on NPR. I would go on Fox News and let the world know what the fuck you did to me 3 months after. And y'all want her to get over it and hang around him and understand that the show has to go on when these bitches made enough money to buy a house off my name. So not only am I going to be going in on you, I'm going to be going in on my friends who done made that money talking on their podcast, selling merch on my name. Absolutely the fuck not. Aaron, would you like to add anything? Because I know you're on the opposite side. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Respectfully, I do understand there are a lot of people who feel like Kaya.
No, there aren't. There's not a lot. Everyone's saying move on.
Well, I did see a lot of her supporters in the comments, I'd say, for that particular post.
Only because everyone else has been like, go, move on. I'm the only account that was not scared.
I'm a big believer in you're in a really good position. The best way to deal with people is karma. Mm-hmm. You can't hold on to things forever. I believe there's nothing wrong with getting your lick back. There's nothing wrong with doing what you have to do to feel like even. But at a certain point, it's like you have all these opportunities and all these things going for you. And then she has a new boyfriend. She's in a relationship now.
Yeah, I have my boyfriend in the house, actually.
Yeah, and I believe as much as Rachel was there, I believe she can do that. But it's just, and I will say on this episode it was a lot better. Like, I don't think that she was talking about him a lot. I don't think it was last episode. It was a lot. I'm not gonna lie, but this episode it seemed more toned down. It seemed like he, if anything, went out his way to go to the same location that she was at. I don't know if they had that plan, but I'm really where Lisa Vanderpump is standing right now. She's like, apologize so we can all move on.
And that's the thing, he won't even apologize. So if the dude won't even apologize, then where do we
say, you know what I'm saying? But what I also can't take to when it comes to not just Ariana, but in just general. This group. Mm-hmm. Specifically the women of Vanderpump Rules. We've seen the first, second, and third season. So we've seen how they play. So why is it now that it's like Sandoval and both Schwartz are like the scum of the earth? Like, y'all are the same type of people. Because at the end when they were like, when Ariana was doing all of this with Schwartz and when Katie, and they kind of ganged up on Schwartz, I was like, well, why is all this energy for Schwartz?
Because he knew the whole time and he was lying the whole time. He acted like he didn't know. And he also wants people to give Tom Sandoval a hug, and he wants people to...
I also want to know too, don't you think that Ariana's girls would have had her back too if the roles were reversed? Because I do believe that they would have coddled her. I do believe they would have found... But I'm saying if they were.
But they aren't.
So we have to play fair. He's gonna stick up for his friend as they're gonna coddle her when she's wrong too. So it's like if we can't.
But
just
they're
do
not
that.
coddling her. They're trying to reach out to not just Schwartz. They're trying to be friends again with Sandoval.
I'm saying as of right now, it seems like Katie and her are in a good place. I don't know what they're gonna do on the next episode, but it seems like they're all just like.
It's only gonna be Katie that sticks by her side. The first episode, we literally already lost someone from the ship. The first episode, Lala was already like, okay, I want to talk to Rachel. We lost someone the first episode. The bitch sent her a voice message.
But and like I said, I feel like that was honestly production, and Lala was like, well,
and
I gotta do it
because she's in the after show talking just as much shit. Then the second episode, we got Sheena, and then this third episode, we got Sheena reminiscing. She
ain't loyal to nobody. So, and my whole thing is, I don't even know why Sandoval is like, oh, she's such a good friend. She's so this, she's so that. She's not a good friend. She's a shitty person. And that's it. It's like this is Vanderpump Rules, and that's why I like the show, because it's shitty people who do shitty things all the time.
You're right.
That's what I loved about the show. But now it's like everybody's acting like, but I didn't do that.
You think that? Well, they didn't. That's the difference. It's also
I
like
didn't
you're
do
not
that,
showing
so
any
I'm
growth.
a much better person.
You are
And
41
it's
years
like
old.
they just pull out these angel wings. It's like
Go ahead.
Lala, we seen how you came on the show.
Uh-huh.
Ariana, we seen how you came on the show. James Kennedy, I don't even know why James is upset because you slept with that man's girlfriend in his bed
With his
and
condoms.
used his condoms.
Yeah, that was.
So it's like, enough. That's why I feel like I'm where Lisa Vanderpump is, because she's like, oh, come on, guys. Like, we've all had affairs.
I think Lisa's saying that because she's a
things.
side bitch. And that's another conversation for another
Absolutely.
day.
I do.
I've been saying that since this happened
You
because she's
did
been
say
a little
that.
bit too.
She has been one
Didn't
before.
I say that?
And she knows.
I have this.
She's lived
Taylor.
1,000. I feel like
From
Lisa
the
Vanderpump
beginning.
listens to Summer Walker at night.
I gotta wet my whistle for this.
From the beginning of Scandival, Lisa has just been like, oh, that's just what they do to each other. Oh, these kids.
But my thing is,
You're
did
not
she
children.
lie?
You're 41. You're
She's
41
been
with white
watching
nail
this
polish.
shit. She's been dealing with these heifers since first season. She's like, I have seen it all. Okay?
Right, but is there no growth? That's what we're all. You want people to forgive people, but there's no growth. There's no accountability. There's no real apologies. There's nothing there. So as soon, like, if he was actually like coming to the group and he's like, I'm sorry, I'm genuinely sorry, and he just shuts the fuck up about it, that would be one thing. Okay, I can't say too much. He just keeps giving me ammo. He keeps talking about this and that and how he was in love and how he can't believe Rachel didn't say happy birthday and how he was in love and how James did this.
Yeah,
and you're the oldest one on the cast.
It's a show. He's a shitty person. They're gonna show it.
Right, so then we're gonna treat you like you are.
But then they also they did also bring up the suicidal comments. And I'm like, we just have to be careful with how far we go. I think it's okay to
but
say,
what are they
like,
doing?
you know,
I totally agree with that. That's
I'm not
why
even just talking about them. I'm just talking about in general with the whole fan base and
like
you
mean like
the
media, like how
just
big
the media.
it became.
Yeah,
and it gets bigger when you have Sheena, who's on multiple podcasts talking about it, and then accusing him of sleeping with Billy, possibly. It's like you're just throwing all kinds of shit out of nowhere. And then it's like dragging him even more. That's what happens on the show. If you keep talking about it and you keep talking about it and you keep shitting on the person on the show, the audience is going to watch that and
you're right.
Pretty much do the same thing.
I can agree with that one. You ate that one little thing. I will say you definitely ate that because you needed something. But at the same,
I had to go to court real quick.
No, and you did that well. I feel like you are Ebony K. Williams holding court right now, and you are standing strong. But if this is the same. Okay, we're having this on camera conversation, and that's what someone had a criticism about. I think it was I read something about how they're not like really breaking the fourth wall enough, because they need to be talking about this. Sandoval is being very, very vulnerable, and he could be telling the truth about his thoughts with, trigger warning, suicide. Like, I believe that because the whole world was talking about this. But at the same time, this is the same person who's going to shows talking about Schwartz's mom and how he still, he has no house and Ariana has his house, and he's talking about the situation himself. So it's not like he's shutting up and everyone is attacking him. No, baby.
I definitely have an unpopular opinion about Vanderpump. Walk with me, talk with me, be with me. Vanderpump has always had a problem with women. And even the women on Vanderpump have a problem with women. And I want to call in LVP right now. I want to call her in. I can't say sister to sister, not during this month, maybe March.
You can't.
Don't say that here.
I didn't say this month. Next month is Women's History Month. She can talk to me there. She can't talk to me June because that's Pride. But she is an old woman, and I do not mean that to be ageist, but she has old women mentalities in the ways in which she protects the boys. She protects Sandoval. She protects Schwartz. She protects James. She protects them in the way that she doesn't protect the women. I think I saw something recently. She wanted Ariana gone many seasons ago. Her love for Ariana only came when the money and the brands.
I will say I also wanted Ariana to go many seasons ago because I thought that it was wrong what she did to Kristen, but then Kristen turned out to be racist. So I'm sorry, Ariana. I will still help you with fucking that house up. Go ahead.
Hey, do it. But also, I never saw Ariana throughout all the time she's been in her season to think she's about to Lisa Left Eye Lopez's house. That's not her contribution to reality TV. She's not the one to kind of get rough and tough and rustle. I don't think that's in her. I don't think that's that's not her. So in an environment like Vanderpump that I used to call like white people Zeus, like I still remember when like Scandival and Jax, like that he threw that glass and he was bleeding. He was like, yeah, let's fight. Like that's like, it has that, but it's gotten refined over time for like for the press, for the non-Bravoholics, but they still have that beast in them. And I think honestly, if you look at like Ariana, like I saw her, she did something with Good Morning America. She's doing stuff with CBS News. Like she's being media trained. Her card is coming up. And the thing is, when she clocks in that final card, she has already moved in a space of celebrity that Sheena and Lala and Scandival and Shorts have been trying for decades. I don't think that it's flip-flopping. I still think it's that general irritation. Like, you get this opportunity, you get this, it launches you, it elevates you. And even though it was wrong how she came in with the cheating thing, throughout the whole entire series, she's kind of been like the saint, right? Like you really couldn't call her to be like, she's not doing anything, like sleeping with somebody's husband or doing all that stuff. They come from that reality school TV method where it's like, I have to entertain, I gotta perform, I gotta throw a punch, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. And the fact that Ariana was able to go to the White House Correspondents' Dinner, so was Lala, but Ariana kept on growing and those opportunities didn't come for Lala. So now she's like, oh, you think you're better than me. I really think that's the mentality that they're not talking about. You think you're better than me. Because here's the thing. When Ariana's in the press, she's talking about Chicago. She's talking about her boyfriend. She's talking about how she went to school for musical theater, how her parents always went to her shows. They're not around. That is good, wholesome cover story, profile, feature. I want to root for you. Everybody else, it's what happened in the car between James and Allie. It's fuck, marry, kill with Scandival. It's Billy Lee. They're still thinking Bravo fame. Ariana is thinking, how can I make this long-term fame? And I think we're seeing that play out in this current season where they're like, okay, well, Raquel's not coming back, so I can't milk this cow for what it's worth. I can't milk Ariana because that girl has gone to therapy and she got a fine Asian boyfriend. What's the next wave? Because like allegedly Vanderpump was gonna get canceled if not for Scandival.
Yeah, it was.
And now the thing is, if Ariana leaves, who's gonna be the reason why people tune in?
Yeah.
But I do think that's what Lala's thinking.
Yeah.
I think Lala's like,
you think
what
she's setting up the future of
gonna...
Vanderpump Rules?
I do. I think she's like, well, what the hell we gonna do?
I think fair. She is, because she's a long-term thinker. But the thing is, Ariana, as Swartz said, has become the scorned saint of women everywhere. Lala, unfortunately, which I think, maybe in 15 years will be different. People still see her with her scarlet letter. They still see her as a Jezebel. They still see her as the whore, which sucks because that means that some of the fan base will never empathize with her in the ways that Ariana can. Mm-hmm. But you trying to side with Scandival and Raquel isn't going to bring them to you. And I just want her to figure out, you're too young to be a housewife. You don't want to be on these younger shows. So what is your reality TV career?
Maybe that should be the pot stirrer. Because we got to wrap. I don't want to cut you off, but we got to wrap. I think that's a good pot, sir. Like, where do you see Lala going from here? Because she might not, she might be this, like Aaron is saying, she might be the future of Vanderpump Rules if Ariana has to go, and that would be good. But everyone,
and there's also your point too, Taylor.
Everyone, go to the description and follow Taylor. Thank you so much for joining us. We love you so much, and we'll be with you guys next week for the pop culture episode. Thank you so much, Taylor.
Thank y'all.
Yes.